In this video, we will be solving a few questions from the chapter of straight lines, and I've taken these questions from the Maharashtra government textbook, Mathematics 11th Standard, Part 1, Chapter 5, Exercise 5.4. Let's begin with the first question. Find the slope, x-intercept and y-intercept of each of the following lines. So if you need the slope, you should convert the equation of the line to y equal to mx plus c. So keep y on one side and take everything else on the other side. So you will have 3y equal to minus 2x plus 6. Take that 3 also on the right. So this will be minus 2x by 3 plus 6 by 3 will be equal to 2. So if I compare it with y equal to mx plus c, whatever comes with m, whatever comes with x represents the value of m. So m value out here, that is the slope of the line, will be minus 2 by 3. This term here represents the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is equal to 2. This is the y-intercept. But the x-intercept cannot be found from this formula. So what you can do is you can break down this equation to the slope-intercept form. Sorry, to the double-intercept form. The double-intercept form tells you that you need to take that 6 on the right. So you will have 2x plus 3y equal to 6. And then you can take that 6 on the left, but by dividing it, not by subtracting or adding it. So we will have 2x upon 6, which is x upon 3, plus 3y upon 6, which is y upon 2, equal to the right hand side will be 1. So the x-intercept is 3 and the y-intercept is equal to 2. So that is how we are finding the slope, the x and y-intercept for the given line in option A. In option A means in part A of question number 1. In a similar way, let's try to answer the part B. So here also first we will convert the equation to y equal to mx plus c by taking y on the right. So we will have y is equals to 3x minus 9. So if we compare it with y equal to mx plus c, whatever comes with x will represent m, that is the slope of the line will be equal to 3. And to get the x and y intercepts, we can convert this equation to the double intercept form. And for converting it to the double intercept form, 9 goes on the right. It becomes 0 plus 9, which is 9, and that 9 comes in the denominator of left hand side. So we will have 3x upon 9, which is x upon 3, minus y upon 9 equal to 1. We can write minus y upon 9 as plus y upon minus 9, and finally the x-intercept will be 3. The y-intercept will be minus 9. That is, the line will intersect the y-axis at the point 0, minus 9. Okay, that's how we are answering the part B of question number 1. And in a similar way, let's go ahead with the part C. In that question number C, if you see, there is no constant in the given equation. If there is no constant in the given equation, then the line is passing through the origin. And if any line passes through the origin, like this, we can say that it is intersecting the x-axis and y-axis at the point 0 and 0 only. That is, the x and y-intercept both are equal to 0. So x-intercept and y-intercept, we just discussed that these are equal to 0. Finally, what we require is the slope of this line. So to get the slope, we will reduce the equation to y equal to mx plus c. Take that x on the right, so you will have 2y is equal to minus x. And take that 2 also on the right, so you will have y equals to minus 1 upon 2 into x. Comparing it with y equal to mx plus c, the value of c, that is the y-intercept, will be 0. We have already got that from here. But the value of m, that is the number that comes along with x, the value of m, that is slope of the line, will be equal to minus half. And yeah, that's how we are answering our first question. Let's go ahead with the second one. Write each of the following equations in the form ax plus by plus c equal to 0. So in the first equation, all you need to do is take that y on the right hand side. So you will have 2x minus y minus 4 equal to 0. For the b part, take that 4 on the left. So y minus 4 will be equal to 0. For the c part, all you need to do is write this term as 2x divided by 4. The other term is already y upon 4 equal to 1. So on the left hand side, because the denominators are the same, you can club the numerators and write it as 2x plus y divided by 4. Let that 4 go on the right. So 2x plus y equal to 4 is the equation. Take that 4 on the left. So finally 2x plus y minus 4 equal to 0 is the equation of line given in option C. I mean question number 2, part C. For the part D, all you need to do is cross multiply in the numerator. So that will give you 2x minus 3y, and you can multiply the denominators to get the common denominator, which is 6, equal to 0. Take that 6 on the right, so you will have 2x minus 3y is equal to 0, and take that 3y on the right, so you will have 2x equal to 3y. Okay, I think you needed it as 2x minus 3y equal to 0 only. Yeah. So that is the final equation of your line for part D of this question. Yeah, that's how we are answering question number 2. Go ahead with question number 3. You need to show that the given lines are parallel to each other. Now two lines are parallel if their slopes are the same. The slope of this line can be obtained by breaking it down to the form y equal to mx plus c. We will take that 2y on the right, so we will have 2y is equals to x minus 7. Take that 2 on the right, so we will have x by 2 minus 7 by 2. The term coming with x is 1 by 2, and that is why the slope of this line is equal to 1 by 2. Let's call it m1. Let's try finding the slope of this line. For that again we do the same thing. We take that 4y on the right, so we will have 4y equal to 2x plus 15. Take that 4 on the right, so we will have y equal to 2x upon 4 will be x upon 2 plus 15 upon 4. Again whatever comes with x, that is 1 by 2, is the slope of this line. So m2 is 1 by 2. The slopes of the two lines are equal, and that is why we say that the two lines are parallel to each other. Now there's one thing you need to know about parallel lines. Every time you don't have to go for finding the slope and checking whether they are equal or no. You just need to check the coefficients of x and y. If the coefficients of x and y in two lines, if they are equal or if they can be made equal to each other, then the two lines will be parallel. In this case, the coefficients of x and y are not equal, but you can make them equal if you multiply this equation entirely with 2. By multiplying that first equation with 2, we have 2x minus 4y minus 14 equal to 0. Because we are able to make the coefficients of x and y for the given two lines as equal, we can say that the two given lines are going to be parallel with each other. Okay, so that's how you can identify two lines as parallel lines. And yeah, with that we go ahead with question number 4. Again, we need to show that the two given lines are perpendicular to each other. So for the first line, if 2y goes on the right, we have 2y equal to x plus 7. Sorry, x minus 7. Let that 2 go on the right, so x by 2 minus 7 by 2. For this line, keep that y on the left. Take minus 2x minus 1 on the right. The slope of this line is the term which comes with x, that is 1 by 2. The slope for this line is the term which comes with x, which is minus 2. If you multiply the two slopes, you have minus 2 into 1 by 2, which is minus 1. Because the product of slopes is equal to minus 1, we say that the given two lines are perpendicular to each other. Now if they have told you to find the point of intersection, that can be easily done by solving the two equations simultaneously. And to solve them simultaneously, we can multiply this equation by 2. Okay. So this equation, the first equation becomes 2x minus 4y minus 14 equal to 0. And the second equation is 2x plus y plus 1 equal to 0. Subtract the two equations. So 2x minus 2x will be 0. Minus 4y minus y, that will be minus 5y. Minus 14 minus 1 will be minus 15 equal to 0. So if you solve it, the value for y will be equal to minus 3. Put that y as minus 3 in, let us say, equation number 1 here. So when you put y as minus 3, this will be plus 6. 6 minus 7 will be minus 1. That minus 1 goes on the right. The value of x will be equal to 1. So 1 comma minus 3 is the point of intersection for the two given lines. Let's go ahead with question number 5. In question number 5, they say that the given line, which is 3x plus 4y equal to P, is making a triangle of area 24 square units with the coordinate axis. Then find the value for P. Consider this equation and try to break it down to the double intercept form. The equation will be 3x upon P plus 4y upon P equal to 1. Here as well we will write the 3 in the denominator. So we will have x upon p by 3 plus y upon p by 3 equal to 1. Okay, so that's how we are writing the equation of our given line. And this given line, if it has the, it was 4y, right? So it will be p by 4. If this was the line, then the intercepts are p by 3 and p by 4. And that is why we will say that the line will look something like this, with this number on x-axis being p by 3. So the coordinates of that point will be p by 3 comma 0, and the coordinates for this point here will be 0 comma p by 4, because that point represents the y-intercept of this line, which is p by 4. Now they have said that the area of this triangle is 24 square units. You need to understand that this triangle is a right angle triangle with the base as p by 3, its length is p by 3, the height will be p by 4. Now that they have said that the area is 24, we can say that 24 will be equal to half into base p by 3 into height p by 4. This 2 into 3 into 4 is making it 24. That 24 can go on the left, and you can say 24 into 24, which is 24 square, and that will be equal to p square. If p square is 24 square, then p will be equal to plus or minus of 24. And yeah, the value of p is plus or minus of 24 answers our question number 5. That's how we are solving the 5th question. And with that, we go ahead with the 6th question. There's a point A, minus 2 comma 3. Let's draw it here. Let's mark it here. And you're drawing a perpendicular from that point to the line, which is 3x minus y minus 1 equal to 0. So let this be the line, 3x minus y minus 1 equal to 0. You're dropping a perpendicular from there, and you need the coordinates of the foot of perpendicular. So you need the coordinates of this point here, and to get the coordinates of that point, we can say that let this point be D. If we have the equation of AD, we can solve the equation of AD with the equation of this line, and that will give us the coordinates for the point of intersection, which is D. To get the equation of AD, we know a point through which AD passes. All we need is the slope of AD. The slope of AD can be obtained because if AD is perpendicular to this line, the negative reciprocal of slope for this line will be the slope of AD. So let's try to find the slope of this line. For that, we will break down this equation to y equal to mx plus c by taking y on the right. So we will have y equal to 3x minus 1, and comparing it with y equal to mx plus c, whatever comes with x, which is 3, is the slope of this line. If the slope of this line will be 3, the slope of AD will be the negative reciprocal of 3, which is minus 1 upon 3. And yeah, now we have the slope of AD. We know a point through which AD passes, so we can get the equation of AD by using the slope point form. That is y minus y1 is equals to m into x minus x1, that is x minus minus 2, making it x plus 2. Taking this 3 on the left hand side, we have 3y minus 9, and open up this minus sign here, so you will have minus x minus 2. Take everything on the left, so you will have x plus 3y minus 7 equal to 0. And yeah, all we need, this is the equation of AD. So here's the equation of AD. To get the coordinates of that foot of perpendicular, to get the coordinates of the foot of perpendicular means to get the coordinates of D, we need to solve this equation, that is the equation of AD, and the equation of this line simultaneously. So we can do that if we multiply this equation with 3. So that will give us 9x minus 3y minus 1 equal to 0. The next equation of AD is already x plus 3y minus 7 equal to 0. Add up the two equations, you get 10x minus 8 equal to 0. So 10x will be equal to 8. X will be equal to 8 upon 10. That is 4 upon 5. And we can put that x as 4 upon 5. Let us say in this equation only. So if x will be 4 upon 5, this will be 3 into 4 upon 5, that is 12 upon 5. 12 upon 5 minus 1 That will make it 7 upon 5. Let that y go on the right, so the value for y will be 7 upon 5. Yeah, so 4 upon 5 comma 7 upon 5 are the coordinates of point D, that is the foot of perpendicular for question number 6. Okay, with that we go ahead with our next question, that is question number 7. You need the circumcenter of the triangle whose vertices are given to you right here. That's point A, minus 2 comma 3. That's point B, 6 comma minus 1. That's point C, 4 comma 3. Circumcenter means the point of intersection of perpendicular bisectors. So let's make the perpendicular bisector of BC here, and we will make the perpendicular bisector of AB also. So what we require are the coordinates of this point. We can draw the perpendicular bisector of AC also, but we don't require 3 lines. The perpendicular bisector of AC will pass through this point only. Okay, we don't require 3 lines, because to get this point, if we know the equation of this line and this line, the 2 equations can be solved and we can have the circumcenter. We don't really require that third line. So if you want to find it, you can find it, but it's of no use in this question. So the midpoint here, so the midpoint of AB, this point, you can find it by the midpoint formula. That will be minus 2 plus 6, that is 4, divided by 2, which will be 2. And then you have 3 plus minus 1, which is 2 divided by 2, which will be 1. Try to find the midpoint here. That will be 4 plus 6, which is 10, divided by 2, that will be 5. 3 minus 1, which is 2, divided by 2, which will be 1. The slope of AB will be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So the numerator is minus 4, the denominator is 8. So the slope of AB is minus half. If the slope of AB is minus half and this perpendicular bisector is perpendicular to AB, the slope of perpendicular bisector will be the negative reciprocal of this, that is the slope will be equal to 2. Similarly, try to find the slope of BC and its negative reciprocal will be the slope of this perpendicular bisector. Okay, the slope of BC, that will be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So this will be minus 4 divided by 2. That will be minus 2. So the slope of this line is going to be equal to the negative reciprocal of this, that is 1 by 2. So equation of perpendicular bisector of AB, that will be y minus y1 equals to m into x minus x1. Okay, so this will be 2x minus 4. Take everything on the right, so you will have 2x minus y. Let's take that minus 4 on the left and keep that minus 1 on the left only. So 4 minus 1 will be 3. So here's the equation, that is 2x minus y equal to 3. That's the equation of perpendicular bisector of AB. Find the equation of perpendicular bisector of BC. That will be y minus y1, which is y minus 1, equals to m x minus x1. Take that 1 by 2 on the left, so that will be 2y minus 2. On the right, it is x minus 5. So if we take everything on the right, we will have x minus 2y. Take that 5 on the left. So we will have 5 minus 2, which is 3 on the left. And yeah, with these two being your equations, all you need to do is solve these two equations of the perpendicular bisectors simultaneously, and you will have their point of intersection, which is this point, that is your circumcenter. Okay, so to solve it simultaneously, we multiply the second equation with 2. And on subtracting the two equations, 2x minus 2x will be 0. Minus y minus of minus 4y, that will be 3y, equal to, subtract these two numbers, that will be minus 3. So y will be minus 1. And when you put y as minus 1 in, let us say, this equation, you will have 2x minus of minus 1, that is 2x plus 1 equal to 3. That plus 1 goes on the right, 2x will be equal to 2, so x will be equal to 1. Okay, so the coordinates of your circumcenter are 1 comma minus 1, and yeah, that's how you are answering this 7th question. This point, like we just found, is 1 comma minus 1. Okay, we go ahead with question number 8. Find the coordinates of the orthocenter of a triangle whose vertices have been given to you. So the vertex A is 3 comma minus 2. The vertex B, that is 7 comma 6, and the vertex C, which is minus 1 comma 2. We are drawing only 2 out of any 3 altitudes. So we are drawing the altitude AD, and let's say we are drawing one more altitude CF. Okay, so slope of BC is what we will find first. The slope of BC, y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1, that will give us 4 upon 8, which is equal to half. If the slope of BC is half, look in the diagram, BC, the slope of it is half, so the slope of AD will be the negative reciprocal of half, that is minus 2. So the slope of AD we are getting, it is minus 2. And the equation of AD will finally be y minus y1, AD means passes through the point A, right? So y minus y1 equals to the slope, that is minus 2, into x minus x1. So this will be y plus 2. On the right it will be minus 2x plus 6. Take everything on the left, so you will have 2x plus y is equals to 6 minus 2, which is equal to 4. So that's the equation of altitude AD. Similarly, let's try finding the equation of altitude CF. The slope of AB, this is F, okay? Yeah, so the slope of AB, that will be y2 minus y1, which is 6 minus minus 2, divided by x2 minus x1. This will be equal to 8 upon 4. Slope of AB will be equal to 2. And if the slope of AB is 2, the slope of CF will be its negative reciprocal, which is minus 1 upon 2. So the equation of CF will be, it passes through C, right? So the equation will be y minus 2, that is y minus y1, equals to m, which is minus 1 upon 2, into x minus minus 1, which is x plus 1. So that's the equation of CF. Try to simplify that, bring that 2 on the left, so that will be 2y minus 4. Open up this bracket on the right, that will make it minus x minus 1. Take everything on the left and the numbers on the right. I mean, take minus x on the left, so it will be x plus 2y is equals to, that 4 goes on the right, so that makes it 4 minus 1, which is equal to 3. Okay, so to solve them simultaneously, 2x plus y will be 4. Let's multiply the second equation by 2. So we have 2x plus 4y equal to 6. Subtract the 2 of them, so 2x minus 2x will be 0. Y minus 4y will be minus 3y. 4 minus 6 will be minus 2. And y will be equal to 2 by 3. If y will be 2 by 3, you can put that y as 2 by 3 in this equation. So you will have 4 by 3, and that 4 by 3 goes on the right. So 3 minus 4 upon 3, that's like 9 minus 4 upon 3, 5 upon 3. So the value of x is 5 upon 3, and the coordinates of your orthocenter finally become equal to 5 by 3, comma 2 by 3. And yeah, that's how you are answering question number 8. Let's go ahead with question number 9. In this question, they are telling you to prove that these lines are concurrent. You have to prove that these lines are concurrent. Concurrent means all of them are passing through the same point, that is, the lines are something like this. Okay, all three of them have the same point of intersection. That's what you need to prove in this question. Now see, if the lines are concurrent, they have a common solution, and if they have a common solution, then the equations are consistent. You have learned in determinants that if three equations of this type are consistent, then the determinant value will be 0. If the determinant value is proved as 0, then we can say that the equations are consistent and hence the lines will be congruent. So let's make the determinant. The determinant is going to look like this. The first row will be 3, minus 4 and 5. The second row will be 7, minus 8 and 5. And the last row will be 4, 5 and minus 45. Okay. Try to expand this determinant. So we will have 3 into minus 45 into minus 8. So 3 into 45 into 2 is 90 and into 4, so that will be 360. Minus 25. Then minus of minus 4, that's making it plus 4. The whole thing multiplied by 45 into 7. So that will be 315. That is minus 315. Minus 20. And plus we will have 5 multiplied by 35. 35 minus 32. 35 plus 32. So 5 into 35 plus 32. Okay. So 360 minus 25. That's making it 335. Okay. 335 into 3. So that will be 900, 990 and 1005. Okay. And this will be minus 335 into 4. Okay, I think I should have let it remain as 335 into 3 minus we have 335 into 4, because when you combine them, when you take out the 335 common, it becomes 335 into 3 minus 4, that is minus 1, into 335, which is minus 335 only. Okay. And then you can add up these two numbers. So that will be 35 plus 32, which is 67. And 67 into 5, yeah, that will be 335. So we have minus 335 plus 335, which is 0. And that is why we say that the given equations are consistent, means that the lines are congruent. To find the point of concurrence, solve any two equations simultaneously and you will get the point of concurrence. To solve any two equations simultaneously, it seems like the first and second are the easiest of options. So we have 7x minus 8y plus 5 equal to 0. And the first equation we can multiply that by 2 and write it as 6x minus 8y plus 10 equal to 0. Subtract the two of them. We have 7x minus 6x, which is x, minus 8y minus of minus 8y, that is 0, 5 minus 10, which is minus 5. So x minus 5 will be 0 and that is why x will be equal to 5. And when you put x equal to 5, let's say in this equation, we have 15 plus 5, which is 20. That 20 goes on the right. Minus 4y will be minus 20. So y will be equal to 5. So x equal to 5 and y equal to 5, it's the point of intersection, is the point of concurrence for the given lines. Okay, so that's how we are solving our 9th question. And with that we go ahead with our 10th question. Find the equation of line whose x-intercept is 3. See, if its x-intercept is 3, the line is passing through 3, 0. And it is perpendicular to this line. We can write the equation of this line by taking y on the right hand side as y equal to 3x plus 23. Comparing it with y equal to mx plus c, the value of m, that is the slope of the line, will be equal to 3. Now our line is perpendicular to this line. So if the slope of this line will be 3, the slope of our required line will be the negative reciprocal of 3, that is minus 1 upon 3. So our line passes through 3, 0. Its slope is minus 1 upon 3. So the equation will be y minus y1 equals to m into x minus x1. Y minus 0 will be y. Take that 3 on the left, you have 3y. Open up the bracket here, that will be minus x plus 3. and finally when you take everything on the left or just the minus x term on the left, the equation of our required line will be x plus 3y is equal to 3. Okay, that's how we are answering the question number 10. And with that we go ahead with question number 11. Find the distance of origin from this line. Distance of a line from a point, or distance of a point from a line, or length of perpendicular drop from a point on a given line. The formula for that was something like this. The required distance will be obtained when we substitute origin, that is x and y, as 0 and 0 in the equation of this line. So that will give us 7 into 0 plus 24 into 0 minus 50. Basically we are substituting the coordinates of that point in the equation of the line and dividing the full thing with the root of coefficient of x, that is 7, the square of it, plus the coefficient of y, 24, the square of it, which is 576. The modulus of this will be the required distance. So we have 0 plus 0 minus 50, which is simply minus 50, divided by 625, and the root of 625 will be 25. So the distance becomes 2, and yeah, this 2 is the distance of origin from the line that they have given in the question. Let's take one more example based on the same very formula. You need the distance of A from this line. So to get that, we will substitute the coordinates of A in the equation of this line. That will give us the distance as modulus of 12. In place of x we are putting minus 2. In place of y we are putting 3 and minus 13. Make sure to see that the right hand side of the equation is 0, because only after making the right hand side as 0 you can apply this concept. You will have to divide it with root over coefficient of x, that is 12 cos square, which is 144, plus the coefficient of y, which is minus 5, the square of it, which will be plus 25. So the distance will be minus 24 minus 15, minus 24 minus 15 is minus 13, 9, minus 13, that is minus 52, divided by, this is 169, root of 169 is 13. This will be minus 4, the modulus of it will be equal to 4. So the distance of that point from the line is equal to 4. Let's go ahead with the next sum. You need to find the distance between the given set of parallel lines. And the distance is obtained by the formula mod of C1 minus C2 divided by root over a square plus b square. We need to ensure to see that the coefficients of x and y for both the lines are the same. If they are not same, you need to make them same by either multiplying or dividing any one of these equations. Here that's not required because the coefficients are already same. After the coefficients are same, C1 and C2 are the constants in the equations of the two lines, which are 7 and 5. So D will be given by C1 minus C2, that is, take it as 5 minus 7 or 7 by 5, it does not matter. Anyway, in the end you are going to take a modulus, divided by root over A and B represent the coefficient of x and y, which are 4 and minus 3, and their squares will be 16 and 9. So inside the root you have 16 plus 9, that will be 25, and root 25 will be 5. So the distance between the two parallel lines is 2 divided by 5. And yeah, that's how we are answering our question number 30. Find the distance between the given parallel lines. So the first equation is 9x plus 6y minus 7 equal to 0. But the second equation does not have the coefficients as the first equation. We can make them same by multiplying the second equation on both the sides with 3. So when we multiply the second equation with 3, we have 9x plus 6y plus 18 equal to 0. Apply that formula again. D will be equal to mod of C1, which is 18, minus C2. But C2 is minus 7. So 18 minus minus 7, making it 18 plus 7, which is 25 in the numerator. And in the denominator, it will be root over a square plus b square, that is coefficient of x square plus coefficient of y square. I mean coefficient of x, the whole square, plus coefficient of y square, that is 81 plus 36. 81 and 36 is what? 117. 117 is divisible by 9, so that will be 9 into 13. So we can write it as 3 root 13. And yes, 25 upon 3 root 13 is the distance between the given set of parallel lines. That's how we are answering our question number 14. And with that, we go ahead with question number 15. Find the points on this line, which is x plus y minus 4 equal to 0, which are at a distance of 1 unit from the line x plus y minus 2 equal to 0. Okay, we see an x plus y here and here. That tells us that if the coefficients of x and y in both the equations are the same, the two lines are going to be parallel. So if one line looks like this, the other line will be exactly parallel to it. And if you take a point here, or let's say you take any point on one line, this is the line, let's say x plus y minus 4 equal to 0, and this is the line x plus y minus 2 equal to 0. Any point on this line will be at a fixed distance from the other line. That distance will be the distance between the two parallel lines, and we can write it as mod of c1 minus c2, which is minus 4 minus of minus 2, divided by root over a square plus b square, that is 1 square plus 1 square, which is 1 plus 1. This entirely will become minus 4 plus 2, that will be minus 2, divided by root 2. So this is giving us minus root 2, and the modulus of it will be root 2. So any point on this line or on any one of the lines, any point on any one of the lines will be at a distance of root 2 from the other line. So there can be no point on this line at a distance of 1 unit from this line. Okay, every point on this line will be at a distance of root 2 units from this line. And that is why in the 15th question, there are no points satisfying the condition that they have given in the question. So the 15th sum does not have any answer. It might be a typing error from the side of the textbook. I'm not too sure about it, but assuming that there is no error, there is no answer for the 15th question, because like I said, every point on this line will be at a distance of root 2 from the second line. Okay, let's go ahead with 16th question. Find the equation of a line parallel to the x-axis passing through the point of intersection of the two lines given over here. Any line that passes through the point of intersection of this and this line, equation of that line can be written as x plus y minus 2 plus lambda times the equation of this line, which is 4x plus 3y. Bring that 10 on the left and write it as minus 10 equal to 0. Okay, so the equation of any line that passes through the point of intersection of these two lines is given by this entire expression. Now they have said that our required line is parallel to the x-axis. Look, parallel to x means perpendicular to y, and if the line is perpendicular to y, the equation will be of the type y equal to constant. Y equal to constant means there will be no term in x, and if there is no term in x, we can say that in this equation, for our required line, the coefficient of x must be equal to 0. So let's rewrite this equation something in this manner. X plus y minus 2 plus, expand this bracket, so that will be 4 lambda x plus 3 lambda y minus 10 lambda equal to 0. Take the terms in x together, so that will give us x into 1 plus 4 lambda plus y into 1 plus 3 lambda, the y terms are here, plus minus 2 minus 10 lambda equal to 0. Like we said, the equation has to be y equal to k for the required line. The coefficient of x will be equal to 0. So if we take 1 plus 4 lambda as 0, we get lambda as minus 1 upon 4. So we put lambda as minus 1 upon 4 in the equation of our required line to get the final equation of the line that they are asking. So when we put lambda as minus 1 by 4, the first term will be x into 0, which is 0. The second term will become y into 1 minus 3 by 4. that is simply y into 1 by 4, which is y by 4, minus, this minus can be taken outside the bracket, so you can write it as minus of 2 plus 10 lambda. Put that lambda as 1 minus 1 by 4, so this will be minus 10 by 4, and minus 10 by 4 will be minus 5 by 2. So this is minus 5 by 2, 2 minus 5 by 2. Okay, so that will make it minus 1 upon 2, and minus of minus 1 upon 2 will make it plus 1 upon 2. So we have y by 4 plus 1 upon 2 equal to 0 as the equation of our required line. You can take that 1 upon 2 on the right, so this becomes minus 1 upon 2. Take that 4 here, so y equal to minus 2. Okay, that's the final equation of our required line. Okay, I know that many of you are thinking that there's a shorter method to this. Such a long thing was not really required. The shorter method was you find the point of intersection for this and this line, and whatever point of intersection you get, the y coordinate equated with y, that is y equal to the y coordinate of the point of intersection of these two lines. That will be the answer for the 16th question. You are absolutely right in thinking in that way, but I have solved it in this way so that you can practice this particular concept, that equation of any line passing through the point of intersection of two lines is written in this manner. In a similar way, let's try one more question. We will try it in exactly the same way that we tried the previous question. Find the equation of line passing through the point of intersection of these two lines, and it is making an intercept of 3 on your x-axis. So equation of any line passing through the point of intersection of these two lines, that will be x plus y minus 2 plus lambda times 2x minus 3y plus 4 equal to 0. Okay, let's write it in a proper way. So we will have x plus y minus 2 plus, expand the bracket, so it is 2 lambda x minus 3 lambda y plus 4 lambda equal to 0. Club the terms in x together. So we will have x plus 2 lambda into x. That will make it 1 plus 2 lambda the whole into x plus 1 minus 3 lambda the whole into y. Then let's take this minus 2 and 4 lambda on the right. So on the right it will become 2 minus 4 lambda. And that 2 minus 4 lambda we will take it in the denominator on the left. Okay. Let's think of this entire equation now. Okay. Let's think of this entire equation now as x divided by 2 minus 4 lambda upon 1 plus 2 lambda plus y divided by 2 minus 4 lambda upon 1 minus 3 lambda equal to 1. So I am writing this equation of the line in the double intercept form, and they have already said that the x-intercept for our required line will be 3. So x-intercept means the denominator of x, that is this entire term, will be equal to 3. So we have 2 minus 4 lambda upon 1 plus 2 lambda as 3. Take that 1 plus 2 lambda on the right. So we will have 3 into 1 plus 2 lambda. Expand the bracket, so this will become 3 plus 6 lambda. On the left it was 2 minus 4 lambda, right? So take that 4 lambda on the right. We will have 6 lambda plus 4 lambda, which is 10 lambda. Take that 3 on the left and you have 2 minus 3, which is minus 1. So the value for lambda becomes minus 1 upon 10. Okay, and that lambda is minus 1 upon 10. We will substitute it here to get the final equation of our line. The x-intercept was already equal to 3. So this term will be 3. So we have x upon 3 plus y upon. We are putting this lambda as minus 1 upon 10. So this term will be 2 minus 4 into minus 1 upon 10 divided by 1 minus 3 into minus 1 upon 10. Multiply the numerator and denominator with 10. So we will have 20 plus 4 divided by 10 plus 3. This will be 24 upon 13. So yeah, in the denominator here we have 24 that upon 13 goes to the numerator, and this is what the equation of our required line is going to look like. We can simplify that further by writing this as 8x upon 24, and we can club the two terms because the denominator is common. 24 can go on the right, and the final equation of our line, that will be 8x plus 13y is equals to 24. Let's go ahead with question number 18. In question number 18, they have given us 3 points, and they have said that these are the vertices of a triangle ABC. Find the equation of angle bisector of angle BAC. So let's draw the triangle. That's your triangle A, B, C, and the angle BAC is this angle. The angle bisector will look something like this. And now see, there's an angle bisector theorem. It tells you that if the length of AB is M and if the length of AC is N, if AD is the angle bisector, then BD upon DC will also be equal to M upon N only. Okay, so if the coordinates of A are given as 4, 3, B is the origin itself, C is 2, 3, we can find the length of AB by the distance formula. Apply the distance formula between 4, 3 and 0, 0. So by the distance formula, the length of AB will be root over 4 minus, AB will be root over 4 minus 0 the whole square plus 3 minus 0 the whole square. That will be 4 square plus 3 square, that is 16 plus 9. That will be 25, and root 25 will be 5. So the length of AB is equal to 5. Similarly, try calculating the length of AC. Now AC will again be found by the distance formula. So 4 minus 2 is 2. The square of it will be 4, plus 3 minus 3 will be 0. The square of it is 0. And the root of it will be the length of AC. That is root 4 means 2 is the length of AC. So this point D is dividing BC in the ratio 5:2. So by the section formula on internal division, the coordinates of D are 5 into 2 plus 2 into 0. 5 into 2 is 10 plus 2 into 0 will be 0. So 10 plus 0, which is 10, divided by 5 plus 2, which is 7, comma, the y coordinate will be 5 into 3, 15, plus 2 into 0, which is 0. So 15 plus 0 will be 15, divided by 5 plus 2, which is 7. So these are the coordinates of your point D. And with that, you can find the equation of the angle bisector AD. The equation of angle bisector will be y minus y1, that is y minus 3, upon y2 minus y1, that is 15 by 7 minus 3, equal to x minus x1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay, 15 by 7 minus 3, that will be 15 minus 21 upon 7, which is minus 6 upon 7, and 10 by 7 minus 4, that is 10 minus 28, which is minus 18, and this will be minus 18 upon 7. This minus 18 upon 7, we can write it as multiplied by minus 7 upon 18, and you can take that minus 6 by 7 on the right hand side. So this will be into minus 6 upon 7. The minus sign gets cancelled, 7 also gets cancelled, 6 also gets cancelled, and we are left with a 3 in the denominator here. We can take that 3 on the left hand side, so that will give us 3y minus 9 equal to, on the right it is simply x minus 4. Take this, take everything on the right hand side only. So 0 equal to x minus 3y plus 9 minus 4, making it plus 5. And yeah, that becomes the final equation of AD, which is the angle bisector of BAC. That's how we are solving our 18th question. Going ahead with the 19th question. DEF, they are the midpoints of BC, CA and AB respectively of triangle ABC. So if you draw a triangle ABC, this is A, B, C. You can take A as x1, y1, Similarly, you can take B as x2 comma y2. You can take C as x3 comma y3. And their midpoints are, the midpoint of BC is D. The midpoint of AC is E. And the midpoint of AB is F. And their coordinates have been given to you. So you can say that by the midpoint formula, the coordinates of D are actually x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. For D the coordinates of D is the midpoint of BC. So the coordinates will be x2 plus x3 divided by 2. Similarly, the y coordinate will be y2 plus y3 divided by 2. So we can compare it with the coordinates of D which have been given to us, and we can say that x2 plus x3 divided by 2 is minus 1. So x2 plus x3 will be equal to minus 2. Similarly, y2 plus y3 by 2 is 8. So y2 plus y3 will be 16. Okay. And then point E, the midpoint will be x1 plus x3 divided by 2. But for the point E, the x coordinate is 4. So we have a 4 here. Take that 2 on the right and this will be equal to 8. Similarly, for the point E only, we have y1 plus y3 divided by 2 will be minus 2. So when that 2 goes on the right, this will become minus 4. And then we will have for the point F, x1 plus x2 divided by 2. That will be minus 5. So this will be minus 10 here. And y1 plus y2. This should be equal to, it's the point F, right? So that will be minus 6. Now these are 3 equations and 3 unknowns. It is best that we eliminate one unknown and try to deal in 2 unknowns only. So let's just copy this part first on a new page. Okay. So to solve this set of equations, what we can do is from equation, this equation and this equation, let's try subtracting them. So if we are subtracting these 2 equations, the term in x1 will get eliminated. So we will have x1 minus x1, which is 0. Then we have x3 minus x2, which is equal to 8 minus minus 10, which is equal to 18. Now in these 2 equations, we can add up the 2 equations. So adding them will give us x2 plus minus x2, which gets eliminated. x3 plus x3 will be 2 times x3. And that will be minus 2 plus 18, which is 16. So 2x3 will be 16 and x3 will be equal to 8. If x3 is equal to 8, you can put that x3 as 8 here. So 8 minus x2 will be 18. So take that x2 here, take that 18 here. X2 will be equal to 8 minus 18, which is equal to minus 10. And that x2 as minus 10, we can put it here. So if x2 is minus 10, x1 minus 10 is minus 10. So take that minus 10 on the right. You will have x1 as minus 10 plus 10. So x1 will be equal to 0. Okay. Similarly, try solving the last set of equations. That is the set of equations where you have the y's. Again, in this set of equations, let's subtract the last 2 equations. So y1 gets eliminated because y1 minus y1 will be 0. y3 minus y2. That will be equal to minus 4 minus of minus 6, that is equal to 2. And we can add up this equation and this equation. So on adding them, we will have y2 getting eliminated. y3 plus y3 will be 2y3. That will be 16 plus 2, which will be 18. So 2y3 being 18, y3 will be equal to 9. Put that y3 as 9 in this equation. So we have 9 minus y2 as 2. So y2 will be equal to 7. And you can put that y2 as 7 right here. So if y2 will be 7, y1 will be minus 6 minus 7. That is y1 will be minus 13. Okay. So your point A, which was x1, y1, is actually 0, minus 13. The point B is x2, y2, which is minus 10, 7. And the point C is x3 comma y3, which is 8 comma 9. And once you have your points A, B, C, you can easily answer the questions that they are asking. That is equations of the sides A, B, C. You can find them by the 2-point form. I am not finding them because we have done such sums in the earlier part of the exercise. If not this exercise, then the earlier videos I have made, which were based on 5.2 and 5.3. I mean the questions from exercise 5.2 and 5.3. In those videos we have solved these kind of questions ample of times. So equations of all the sides, we can find them by the 2-point form. And the coordinates of circumcenter can also be found. We had discussed that type of a question in this video only. It was this question number 7. So the coordinates of circumcenter in this question, in the 19th question, you can find it just like you had found in question number 7. And yeah, that's how you'll be able to answer even the second question. So I'm not solving it completely, but I've discussed the method by which you can reach your final answers. Let's go ahead with one last question in this video. You're given the 3 vertices of a triangle. You need to find the coordinates of the incenter of triangle OAB. Incenter means the point of intersection of angle bisectors. Now here you can again find the equation of 2 angle bisectors, any 2 angle bisectors, and their point of intersection will give you the incenter. The 2 angle bisectors can be found exactly in the same way like we had found the equation of angle bisector in question number 18. Okay, but if you don't want to do that, there's a direct formula for getting the incenter if the coordinates of all the vertices in a triangle are known. So let us say if this is triangle ABC and the x coordinate here is the coordinates of A are x1, y1, the coordinates of B are x2, y2, the coordinates of C are x3, y3. Then the coordinates of the incenter can be obtained in this manner. Let us say that the length of AB is let us say for example, okay, the length of BC is x, the length of AC is y, and the length of, okay, I'll call it A, B and C, and the length of AB is C. So you can say that the coordinates of incenter will be multiply the length of A with the x coordinate of the opposite vertex. So A into x1. Do that with B. So multiply this length, this side AC, okay, the length of it is B. Multiply that B with the x coordinate of the opposite vertex. So plus bx2. Multiply the length of AB, that is C, multiplied with the x coordinate of opposite vertex, which is x3. So plus cx3, and divided with A plus B plus C. That will give you the x coordinate of incenter. Similarly, the y coordinate of incenter, A multiplied by the y coordinate of opposite vertex, which is ay1, plus, it is to be understood now, it will be by2 plus cy3 divided by A plus B plus C. ABC were the lengths of BC, AC and AB, that is in short the length of all the sides of your triangle. Now this is what if we have to apply in this question. Check very carefully. One of the vertices is O, that is the origin. So the top vertex here is origin. Let's call it 0, 0. There is one vertex which is A, which is 6, 0. So A, that is 6, 0. And then there is B, which is 0, 8. Okay. Let's write the length of all these sides now. The length of sides will be calculated by the distance formula. So OA is going to be 6 minus 0, that is 6 square, plus 0 minus 0, which is 0 only. So OA will be root over 6 minus 0 square plus 0 minus 0 square. That will be equal to 6. So the length of OA will be equal to 6. Similarly, the length of OB by distance formula will be equal to 8. And the length of AB, that will be 6 minus 0 the whole square, which is 36, plus 0 minus 8 the whole square, that is 64. 36 and 64 will be 100 and root 100 will be 10. So length of AB is 10. And finally the incenter is 10 multiplied by the x coordinate here, which is 10 into 0, which is 0, plus 6 into the x coordinate here, which is equal to 0, plus 8 into the x coordinate here, which is 8 into 6, which is 48, divided by the total of length of all the sides, 6, 8 and 10, that gives you 24, comma, the y coordinate will be 10 into the y coordinate here, which is again 0, plus 8 into the y coordinate here, which is 0, plus this length into the y coordinate here, which is 48, divided by 24. So here it's 48 by 24, which is 2, and even this will be equal to 2. So we are going to have 2, 2 as the coordinates of the incenter for question number 20. So this is where I am done with covering whatever I wanted to cover in this video. I hope that the contents of this video have been someplace somewhere helpful to you in your preparations. Thank you for watching.